Okay, good morning to all of you. So today's lecture is on mobile GIS and overview. So during this 1 hour, what I expect that by the end of this lecture, you should be able to have one application of mobile GIS in your mobile phone. Means mobile plus GIS in your phone. So what I have tried to do, half an hour I have tried to give you the concept of mobile GIS, and for the rest of the half an hour we will have one live demo. There is one open source tool is there which quickly enables mobile GIS to be implemented in any of the mobile phone or any of your work. So we will focus in these two parts only, first part for the concept and second part for the live demo of mobile GIS application. So today we won't be having any quiz because most of the time I think I will be giving more time to the implementation of this mobile GIS in the mobile phone for any particular application. So to start with, uh, these will be the learning objective of today's lecture. So you should be aware of what is the basic definition of mobile GIS and why at all to have mobile GIS, and what are the related technologies behind mobile GIS, and what is the architecture of mobile GIS. Suppose you want to develop your own mobile, and what are the features or what are the prerequisites that you should have in your phone, or what are the technologies that should be available, that should be clear to you. And secondly, we should have what are the functions and applications of mobile GIS. We will also focus a little bit on approaches to develop mobile applications. There are different kinds of approaches through which we can develop a mobile application, a mobile app for a GIS application. So there are three kinds of approaches, so we will be covering that part also over here. And there are some limitations also of mobile GIS. Limitations, so all of you may be aware, quite it is quite understood, like small screen size is there, storage is there, low processing speed of the mobile is there. So a full-fledged GIS cannot be implemented over a mobile GIS. However, it can be simulated on a mobile to some functionality it can perform. And there are some case studies. What are the studies? Some of the studies which we have done at IRS also, and some of the studies at the ISRO level, that is NRSC. So that I will try to cover up in the coming slides. And then I will also tell you some of the popular mobile apps which enables you to quickly develop or deploy a mobile GIS application for your workflow. Any kind of workflow you have, how you can deploy it quickly. So there are many popular, there are some open source as well as proprietary solutions are there which enables you to have your mobile GIS applications deployed quickly. And at the end, the second half which I was telling, one of the tool I will take and we will try to develop one small GIS application which can be implemented using a mobile phone. So around 8 10:30 or like that we will take up that exercise also. And to start with, if you see what is the mobile GIS, the very basic definition: GIS on the move, means GIS for use on the mobile devices. Now this is a very basic definition of mobile, means taking the GIS workflow from your office to the field. Means mobile GIS on the go. Directly I am on the field and I want to perform some sort of GIS analysis in the field. So this mobile GIS enables us to do GIS operations on a go or on the field itself, that can easily be performed. So there are, as it is quite clear from the definition as well. So what it can be do now, the basic, as you have taken the previous lectures also, the basic capabilities of a GIS is that it enables capturing, storing, updating, manipulating, analyzing, and display of geographic information. The same is true for mobile GIS also, but here you are in the source itself. You are not at your lab, but you are in the field itself. So a system which enables these operations on the field, we can term it as a mobile GIS. So there are various tasks like capturing the data. I want to capture some geographic data. Like I want to map the fields, the agricultural fields. I want to collect some GCPs. I want to find out I want to do asset mapping. So this is data capturing. So all this mobile GIS enables in the field. Similarly, storage. Now, since the memory or the storage size of the mobile GIS is limited, so but still it can perform a limited amount of storage can also be performed over the mobile. Similarly, updating some data is already there in the server and you want to update it, so that is also quite possible with the help of mobile GIS. Similarly, manipulating, you want to change the data or you want to perform some sort of analysis. There are different kinds of analysis that you might have learned in the previous exercises like buffer analysis, proximity analysis, network analysis. So all these analysis can also be performed on top of a mobile based GIS. And third part is the display. Again, you can have all your layers getting displayed on the mobile phone along with the base maps. Okay, so these are the various functions of a typical mobile GIS application. So if we talk कि why at all mobile GIS, if I can perform all the tasks at the lab, then why do I require a mobile GIS application? So now there are different kinds of tasks. Suppose I want to do some of my personal tasks, then all that can also be performed using a mobile GIS, like finding the best route to places. I am in an unknown city and I want to find out what is the route to reach to the railway station or to reach to a particular institute which is of my interest. So finding the best route for that one. So these are some of the tasks. Like second is finding the nearest utility like the ATMs, restaurants, hospitals, hotels, or anything else. These, like, we are performing some sort of network analysis in these things. So personal tasks. So we can perform personal as well as business tasks with the help of a mobile GIS. So these two were the personal tasks, and there can be many. You may be like Ola cab you are using, or some Uber or anything, some utility cab you are using which provides you some sort. So there also we are using this mobile GIS. Then second is the business applications or the business task. Like I want to do a survey of the field, I want to deliver the product, and power line maintenance, and utility troubleshooting, emergency response, very important concept where here, like emergency response. I have one case study also for this emergency response, we will be discussing later on. So these are some of the business applications which can also be performed using a mobile GIS. The last one, geotagging of field assets for inventory and monitoring. So I can geotag all the assets of a particular organization in the field and they can be monitored as well. For example, if I take it like let us say one example of the horticulture department. So they have different kinds of assets in the field, like sprinklers are there, and they have some drip irrigation instruments are there. So many instruments are there. They are all across the field. They are distributed, and they can be geotagged, and we can have a regular person over there who captures the photographs as well as the information of those assets at regular intervals to the central management or to the central server. So we can perform monitoring as well as inventory of those assets. So this is similarly for the emergency response. Suppose we want to find out the nearest place where the person can be evacuated or the person can be relocated, or the path through which they can be evacuated. So or suppose fire alert someone want to generate. So these all kind of activities can also be performed using a mobile GIS. So these are some of the basic tasks, personal as well as business. They both are being done with the help of a mobile GIS application. Secondly, if we talk who are those users, and similar to that previous slide only here, like the firefighters, they can use it, police officers, and engineering crew, surveyors, utility workers, soldiers, census workers, field biologists, researchers, individuals, they all are the users of mobile GIS. So the list can be unlimited. There can be many users who can make use of this, but these are some of the people who regularly use mobile GIS in their applications or in their workflow. Similarly, what are the tasks that can be performed through mobile GIS? As I told earlier also, it can be a field mapping. I can create, edit, use GIS maps in the field. Similarly, the same I was telling you in the previous slide also, asset inventories. Create and maintain an inventory of the asset location and attribute information. So now here I can, with the help of mobile GIS, we can have not only the attribute information, we can also get their real time location information along with multimedia information also, like their photographs, their live photographs also can be captured. So asset inventory can very well be maintained through that. And the same, if we go further, asset maintenance, maintenance of the assets, like updating the asset location. Suppose that asset is displaced to some other place, so that can also be done with the help of a mobile GIS application. Condition of, what is the condition of that asset in the field, scheduling the maintenance. So all these tasks which can be easily performed using mobile GIS. Similarly, we can also perform inspection, like maintaining the digital record and location of field assets for legal code compliance and ticketing. So another one more application is like incident reporting. So any kind of incidents that can also be reported with the help of your mobile GIS, like it will provide the information of where was the incident occurred, and he can supply the photograph along with some legal or some documents along with that map or with that location can be utilized. So we will have one example for it also here. Now similarly, for GIS analysis and decision making, that can also be performed over the field, like performing the measurements, performing the buffer analysis, geo processing, and other GIS analysis while in the field. So these are some of the tasks which are being performed or which can be very much accomplished using a mobile GIS application. Now, if we talk about the architecture of mobile GIS, what are the components? Which, this is a very simple architecture here, not a very complex one here. If you see, there are what are the components of a particular mobile GIS application? So I need to have the mobile device in the field. Now this mobile device, it should be capable of capturing the location information. From where that location information will come? It will come from a constellation of satellite, because as it is very much aware, we are aware that the location information is captured through, not through one satellite, but by a constellation of satellite. Typically 4 satellites are required to record the location or to calculate the location of a particular place here. Okay, that's why only 4 I have given over here. So satellite constellation is also one component in this mobile GIS architecture, because the location information is coming from this constellation. So similarly, we should have wireless connection. Now I require some data set also, or I need to send the data collected using these location information or the attribute information. Now I need to send this data to the central server or to the GIS database. So for that I need a wireless connection or the internet connectivity, I mean to say. So now here most of the applications are like that, कि without this wireless connection you can capture the information, you can update the information, you can store the information. But if you need to sync your database with the central server, at that time this wireless connection or the internet connection is required. Okay, so internet connectivity is required only to update the central server of the GIS database. Correct. So this is required at that time only, but these are always available here. Now either you can have a chip inbuilt in your mobile phone, if not you can have some GPS receivers. It can be a Bluetooth GPS receiver that captures the GPS location, and then you connect your Bluetooth with the mobile and you will have those location in your mobile device as well, as is the case with our Navik receiver. Since the chips are not readily available in the market right now in the phones, only few phones are there, but otherwise there is a Bluetooth device that is readily available by various vendors in various cities of the country. So from there you can purchase it, and that Bluetooth device can directly be connected with this mobile device, and you will get the location of calculated from our Navic receivers into your mobile phone for this mobile GIS application. Okay, then if we say mobile GIS app, so I require one mobile GIS application also. One software is also required to be installed in this mobile phone in order to accomplish your mobile GIS based workflow. So one software is also required for it. Oh, there are different softwares are there. We will be discussing that later on. Okay. Now web server or the GIS server. So that I told you earlier also, this GIS server here. Now the data will go from this once collected over here. If you need to transfer it to the GIS server, so that is another component of this mobile GIS application. Similarly, now there is one important component that is called the base map. What are the base maps? The maps which you see as at the background, like the OpenStreetMap or the road layer, or sometimes the satellite images also. So they are the base maps. Now we require for mobile GIS application, I also require, sometimes I require, not mandatory, कि there should be one base map also in this mobile GIS application. Now this base map can either come from the cloud, because there are many companies or the many organizations which are hosting their base maps. They provide their URL also, or in the API form, so that can be directly inbuilt into this mobile GIS application. So I can get my base map from popular GIS vendors, or I can also host my base map in my GIS server. Once it is hosted in my GIS server, I can fetch base maps from my GIS server, from the central server of this workflow into my mobile. So base map can come either from cloud, or it can come from the local server also. Okay, or local server, I mean to say, means the server which you have set up yourself for your application. Sometimes we don't require this base map, and our task is very secured, and we don't want to share it with some other general public. So then we can set up our own servers also. So once the server is set up, but this at least wireless connectivity is required in that case. So a private connection can be made to this GIS server using this wireless connectivity in the mobile application. So I can have a dedicated GIS solution or the mobile GIS application inbuilt into my mobile phone. So that will be available to the people of my own work area. So those whom I want to share those data sets with them, only this application will go. Or if it is for the general public like citizen science or the volunteer GIS, then I can make it open for all. So similarly, GIS data is also another component which can be stored in the central server here. From there, it will get fetched to this server, and then from the server to wireless connection, and then directly it comes to the mobile GIS. Okay. Now the last is the multimedia also. Now this multimedia component should be inbuilt into your mobile phone. Like one camera I am displaying over here. So one component of the multimedia. I can have not only the multimedia, I can have videos also, audios also, or I can also take some barcoding or some any other multimedia information that can also be inbuilt into this mobile application. We have the case study for that also, where we will take care of multimedia or GPS signals, base maps, all component together we will take it there. Okay, and we will have one application for developed for that. So quickly I will go to the next slide here. If you see what are the technologies, as we see in the we have seen in the previous slide, these are some of the technologies. Like mobile devices required for that, mobile operating system, mainly Android and the iOS, and we require the wireless communication technology including the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular network, which have and along with this 4G fourth generation network also. And the fourth one is the positioning technology. These are the basic components actually. Others are the optional, like mobile device I should have an operating system in it, wireless communication, and the positioning technology. Like it can be GPS, Navic, cellular based network, Wi-Fi based approach is also there, and various indoor positioning technologies that are also evolving. So these all can also be taken care with this mobile GIS based solution. These are some of the technologies which are inbuilt into this mobile application. If we take it the simple textbook, quickly I will go through it. Like what are the advantages of mobile GIS versus traditional GIS. So it will replace all your paperwork, because all the maps or or even the pen also you have in your mobile phone, and and so that can be replaced very well using the mobile based application. Replacing all the paper based workflows can be done with the help of mobile GIS. Earlier it used to be through the traditional GIS. We used to carry maps in the field, but now not required. You carry your mobile phone, download the maps into it, and do your GIS in the field. It improves the accuracy of the data and reduces cost of data collection. Similarly, another advantage is mobility. The mobile device are not hindered by the wire or the cable. They are wireless. Directly we can carry to any part of the place or to as number of users that can be distributed. Similarly, location awareness. This is again very good advantage of this mobile GIS over the traditional GIS. Like GPS, Wi-Fi networks and other technologies can be used to pinpoint the current location of a mobile application. Real-time locations of the mobile application can also be connected. Similarly, we have a large volume of users, not one user, but we can have n number of users which can use those GIS platform into their mobile phones. Similarly, versatile means of communication. Now I can have the voice can be integrated into it, short messages can be integrated into it. Now emails can be there, and many social networking apps like Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, all those can be integrated into your mobile based application. Now it also provides me the near real time information. The live connection of mobile network greatly enhances the temporal dimension of GIS. So the temporal dimension of GIS is very much enhanced in the case of a mobile GIS application. Quickly I will see some this already I have discussed, like advantages and then limitations. Now storage is one limitation in mobile application. Similarly, analysis, because limited amount of analysis, i.e. routing of vehicle, navigation, nearest utility, they can be performed with the help of mobile GIS, because since the processor as well as the storage are limited, so analysis and storage again becomes the limitations in case of the mobile GIS. Similarly, the presentation also, screen size is not very big. It is a limited screen size both for size as well as color. So this becomes again one limitation in case of mobile GIS. So if we take some examples of mobile GIS, we have location based services. This is one application of mobile GIS. So we can perform any kind of location based application or the services using mobile GIS. Like example, if you see it, as you enter an area or get close to a point of interest, the mobile app on your phone knows where you are and puts information to you about this area or the POI. So at how much distance you are from different kinds of utilities that can be that is made available to you in case of this location based services. So these location based services are very much utilizing the mobile GIS. So wherever we say about location based services, so somewhere we are talking about mobile GIS only. Secondly, voluntary geographic information system, or the VGIS, or sometimes we also call it as the crowdsourcing. So this is again volunteer geographic information. It is what it does actually, getting the data from the citizens or the citizen science. So this data we are getting from the crowd or from the people. So how to get those data from the crowd or the people? That is again this mobile GIS comes into picture. So we can hand over mobile devices along with some customized app to all the people. They will collect, they will act as a sensor for us, and that data will be collected and we can utilize that data for various applications. Okay, example I told you in previous case also, we had shown you one small example of that Manu map the neighborhood in Uttarakhand. That was also a VGI kind of application only, where the mobile app as well as the phone was provided to n number of students around this Uttarakhand, in various regions of the Uttarakhand where that disaster had occurred, and those people, they were able to collect all those data instead of one person going there and collecting all the data. The mobile phone application was given to them and they were able to collect all those data, and quickly within 1 month around 16,000 points were collected on various aspects like landslide, or it was like damage to the building, damage to the road, or damage to the river banks. So all these different aspect information was collected. So it was all possible due to this VGIS only, and mobile VGIS is another good example of mobile GIS only. Okay, if we talk about the virtual reality, this is again we can do with the help of mobile GIS here. Now these smartphones and the virtual glasses such as VR cardboard, they provide some inexpensive platform that makes immersive experience of VR available to everyone. So this is also one small example of virtual reality which is implemented using mobile GIS. I can have a 3D map of the environment that can be interfaced with some other devices. Similarly, if you say about the augmented reality, what is augmented reality now? In case of augmented reality, means it is providing you some of the information on the go. You are on the field, you are carrying the mobile phone, you just place it one market and you are getting the photographs along with using this photograph. I am able to get ki what are these location, the information about this location. Like here there is some restaurant, and similarly I can get their other information also. What is the menu there, what is the cost there. So this is one example. Another example here, underlined pipelines. Now this also is one good example of augmented reality. Means in your mobile phone you are seeing all these pipelines which are generated using GIS, but in reality these all pipelines are under the ground, but your mobile GIS application is providing you the view of those pipelines on your screen. So it is adding, it is augmenting to your application or to your workflow. So augmented reality is another example or another application of mobile GIS. Now let us talk, this was the four applications of mobile GIS. If we talk about the development strategies, we can have a browser based approach, we can have native approach, or we can have a hybrid approach. In browser based approach, we basically develop the mobile application using HTML or CSS or cascading style sheets there. Okay, so application, it does not require any, there is no dependency upon the mobile operating system. What is the operating system in your mobile? Because the application is developed in your HTML or the CSS. This requires only one browser and you can use it in your phone. Okay, you can call that application through any popular browser that is available in your phone, and then but you require a good knowledge of HTML and CSS in this case. However, these browser based apps can access only limited amount of devices native feature. This is one limitation with this browser based approach. It is not able to exploit the device's native features. What your device may be having n number of features, that is limited amount of access is provided to this browser based application. If you want to make full use of your mobile application or full use of all the features of your mobile, like the GPS is there, camera is there, gyroscope is there, or any n number of sensors are there in your mobile application, and you want to exploit all those things for the mobile phone, then you have to go for the native applications. Okay, then you have to develop one native application. Whatever application you have in your phone, like whatever apps or the APK files, they are called the native applications. So they are basically the application developed specifically for the mobile phone, but they have the dependency of the operating system. Now suppose it can be possible that your one of the app is working on Android, whereas it is not able to work on some iOS or some other platform. So that operating system dependency or the limitation is there with the in case of the native application. So in order to get avoid all of this, we can have hybrid applications also. Example is Adobe PhoneGap. So this is one example which provides us we can take advantage. What we can do here, we can build one native app and we can embed HTML or the CSS in the native app. So I am taking advantage of both the features of my phone as well as HTML also, features of the HTML also. So I can develop one hybrid application. So many people are going for this hybrid application development for mobile GIS development, application development. Okay, now if we talk about some of the application, now these were the mobile phone development strategies. Now let us quickly talk about some of the case studies that we have done it here at IRS. Now this was one Amrut mobile application. It was developed for geotagging of the asset. So this application provides geotagging and attribution of the asset identified under the Amrut program of GOI. So this is for urban regeneration. So one program is there by the government of India. So they wanted mapping or the geotagging or the attribution of all the assets spread across the field in various part of the country. So they wanted to geotag them and attribute them also. So this application, a customized application was developed for them, and it did not took much of the time. Around within around 1 month, the complete application was developed, and it was handed over to those people also, and they are they can use it for these kind of applications. So the features are like attribution is there. So there was one web based dashboard was also developed for it. Like in the mobile, in the ground I have the mobile phone, but at the server end I need one dashboard where I have all the information collected from the field in real time. So there was a user friendly GUI was also developed for it, for recording the data, assisting the surveyor to capture location attributes and photographs effortlessly. Another example, let us see Bhuvan Locate Android application developed by NRSE. So now this provides the location tracking, real time navigation, and finding the routes. So this app is readily available. The previous application, this is the for the specialized user, the people who are involved in the Amrut program of Government of India, for them. But this one, it is for the general public. Now this app is readily available in the Bhuvan Geo portal, from where it can be downloaded, and it allows location tracking, real time navigation, and finding the shortest route or the best route for your travel, to reduce your travel time, or to assist in your traveling. So if we say another example is Bhuvan Point of Interest or the Bhuvan POI. This is again one mobile application that is developed at NRSE, at ISRO Hyderabad, NRSE Hyderabad. Now this also allows locating the location recording, geotagging, data collection, and geotagging photo capture of any feature. Whichever feature is of your interest, that you can capture with the help of this mobile app. It is also available in your Bhuvan Geo portal. You can download it from there, and once it is downloaded, it allows these features. Once these are collected in your mobile phone, you can upload all these data set to the Bhuvan server. Once you log into the Bhuvan server, now these data set which you have uploaded, that are visible to you, or you can make use of these data sets in Bhuvan Geo portal. You can download from there in any format, and then utilize it for your geospatial application. Because I will have one example for it. Let us go further. Now some of the popular mapping applications. This is again very interesting slide here. So that may be useful for you also. I am just showing here various applications or the mobile apps which are available in the market, which assist you for quick mobile GIS application deployment. Like one is from the Collector for ArcGIS. The name of that mobile application is Collector. So this is specifically designed for ArcGIS. It is a proprietary, but although this application is free, but it requires the ISRI institutional account. You can directly go to the ISRI website. There you can create your own account, download this mobile app, collect the data, and that data will go directly to this to this ISRI account, or this the dashboard that will be provided to you once you register in the ISRI or the ESRI or the ArcGIS online dashboard. So that data can be directly pushed to that dashboard. So it is a product of ISRI, and very thing is there. This app is available not only for Android, it is also available in the iOS and the Windows also. So it is supporting all these platforms, Android, iOS, and the Windows. Offline and the online operations can be performed on top of this Collector. Offline means you are drawing from your hand. Online means directly capturing from the GPS and measuring and mapping the data set, mapping the GIS layers. Offline, you're doing it manually. So both it provides. Either do it manually, or you generate it from, or you capture it from the GPS and do it automatically. So that it provides you with that. It requires ArcGIS online and ArcGIS server also. Another is Mapit Spatial. This again, this is one proprietary product, Mapit Spatial. But it is basically for the Android phone only. But it has one small good feature. like it is OGC or the geo packages encoding, means you can have vector, raster, point, line, polygon, all the feature into one package. Only one package is there. You just capture all those data set into it, and that can be imported to any for that can be imported for sharing. Means I can have any kind of data set into this geo packaging. So this Mapit geospatial supports that one, and it is it provides you the base maps like Google Maps is there, OSM is there, Bing Map or the ESRI maps, but it is a costly. You require yearly subscription for it. So that is the limitation with it. It is a proprietary, but it has good feature of geo packaging over here. Similarly, I have the QField that is very much compatible with the QGIS software. Again, it is an Android based platform developed by the OpenGIS under the GPL, that is GNU public licenses here. Then it is a QGIS compliant. Now here the beauty of that one is that external GNSS receiver via third party application can be easily integrated. It has a very good interface for integrating all these third party or this external GNSS or the external GPS receiver into your mobile application. Now there, but the point is there here we don't have any dedicated online platform for data sharing. It is again free to use and modify. The source code is also available. You can download it, modify it, and customize it as per your requirement. The fourth one is over here is the Open Data Kit. This is again released under the Apache 2.0. It means you can download the source code at your own, and you can use it not only for open source but for proprietary applications also. You can have your proprietary application developed in case of Open Data Kit because it is released under this Apache 2.0 licenses. But again here it allows you to develop proprietary as well as open mobile applications also. Both the things can be developed with the help of it. Whereas in case of this only you can have only open source solutions can be there in case of QField. This is again Android based. Now it has a suite of applications. It has it provides you a server deployment also. We can say a data creation format also. So I will be talking on this Open Data Kit only. I will take you into detail of this particular application for mobile GIS application deployment. Okay, this one. So let us quickly cover SW Map is another product. It is by the Software Limited, and it is again Android based. The basic again it does not have any dedicated online platform for data sharing but it supports FTP and the shares. FTP is also supported in case of SW Maps, and it is also free to use. Similarly, we have the Locus GIS. Again, it is QGIS compliant. Again, this software is QGIS compliant. Here also we can connect the external GNSS receivers via the Bluetooth. It allows area and distance measurements on the map, and it is QGIS compliant, which I told you earlier also. Similarly, Global Mapper, this is a proprietary, free to use, but it requires some Global Mapper software. The data need to be created in the Global Mapper software, and then the project is created over there, and then you deploy that project into your mobile phone. Although the software is free to use, it is a product of the Blue Marble. Again, it is both for Android as well as iOS. Now it requires proprietary software like Global Mapper. Similarly, I have the mobile data collection. This is a product by the Cloud GIS. Okay, Cloud GIS. Now they provide one trial version for download. You can utilize it. This trial version has some limited features, but this is also a very good application. We have tried it here, and it does not require much of the training. Quickly, a mobile GIS application is deployed into your mobile phone. Requirement is only you have to prepare the forms with the dedicated map portal. They have one map portal also, so there only you have to create the forms, and the forms or the package you have to deploy in your mobile phone. So let us now quickly talk about having one. I will just take 1 minute break, and then I will take you directly to development of a mobile GIS application. That ODK case studies I am taking. So only 1 minute break I will take it. So the concept, so I have covered the entire concept. Now let us take to the real application here. Half an hour is left. During that period, I will try to cover up with deploying one mobile GIS application using ODK, Open Data Kit. So the previous application I told you, among those I have chosen one ODK because I find it is the simplest one. So we will see how we can deploy one mobile GIS of our own without much coding. You will see it. It is a very, some steps are there. You have to follow those steps, and you will have your mobile GIS application in your hand, and you can start using it. We will just break for 1 minute, or 1 minute only. Yeah. Okay, now let us take development of a mobile app or the mobile GIS application. So, what are the prerequisite for it? You will need a Google account, or if you don't have, you can create it, or you need an Android mobile phone running Android iOS of 1.6 or the newer or the higher version. It can take anyone. Okay. Now, what these are the basic steps into it. You have to create of now. Let me talk in detail about this ODK also. This is Open Data Kit. Again, it is an open source, a suite of software which allows you to develop a mobile GIS based application. Hmm? So now the suite contains what it contains. Now, if we talk about a mobile GIS application, what does it should have? It should have I should be able to the idea is like from the field I should be able to collect some data along with the location and multimedia information or some other attribute information. Once the data is collected, then I should be able to send it to the central server. So the flow is like there is something called data collection form. So this ODK, they provide you one particular application through which we can create the GIS data collection form. Okay, once GIS data collection form is created using now how to create that form. First of all, there are numerous through Excel. We can in Excel we can create the form, and that form can be converted to some format which is easily understood by your mobile phone. The very popular form or the format the mobile phone understands is the XML, or sometimes JSON also, a lightweight version of data sharing. So XML and JSON are the two very lightweight data sharing platforms on the in this web environment, and the same are being used by your mobile phones also. So once your data is created in the Excel, you can convert it to some XML form, and then you can directly copy it into your mobile phone and then use it. So now the first part is the creation of the data collection form. So this ODK provides you one component called ODK build. Through ODK build, I can create those data collection form. Whichever fields are required, that can be created. Second, mobile phone, the application software which will allow me to collect that data. So it has one application called ODK Collect that is readily available in the Google Play Store. From there you can download and install this ODK Collect, and once ODK Collect is installed in your phone, you can take those forms created using ODK Build into ODK Collect and start collecting the data. Now the third component, data collection, is data creation, blank data creation, data collection. Now once the data is collected, you want to share it with other people, or you want to send it to a central server. So this ODK build provide you that server component also. There is one software called a component called ODK aggregate. So ODK build is for data form creation, ODK collect is for data collection, and then aggregate server, ODK aggregate server is the server component which will host the, first of all it will host the blank forms, and once the data are collected using ODK collect, and then these are sent to that aggregate server only. So I have the three component: build for creating data collection form, collect for collecting the data from the mobile. Once the data is collected, then sending it to the server, central server, that is ODK aggregate. So these three components are there. Now this the hitch is there. This server component, where this server component will lie, aggregate. Let us say ODK build. It is readily available in the internet. From there you can create your own account, create the form. It is created, convert it to XML. Your form is ready. Second, ODK collect, the data collection mechanism, that is done through ODK collect, already available in the Google Play Store. From there you download it and use it. The third, server component, where this server component will go actually. Now this server component, it can be on the cloud or it can be in your premises also. For hosting this aggregate server in your campus premises, you need some dedicated internet lease lines or some IP address or the IP connectivity or IP addresses, public IP addresses you should have. So you will deploy one server component in your data center. One servers are there. On top of those server, you will deploy aggregate server. One IP address will be given to it, and that same IP address you take for your Google Collect in your mobile phone. There is a column called general setting. From that setting, you provide the name of your server which is hosted either in your data center or in any public cloud. So both, they will, this data center as well as this cloud, they will give you one IP address or the one URL kind of thing. That URL you need to take, and you have to change the setting of your default setting of your ODK collect with the setting of these either cloud or aggregate server. These settings you will put into your Google ODK collect, and then now the form which was created, what you have to do, create the blank form, host that blank form in your server. Blank form is there in the server now. Now you give the URL of your server to n number of users and ask those users to download ODK collect. They will download ODK collect in their Android phone, and you will ask them, you change the server setting. You will ask them to give, you will give your server setting to them. Once your server settings are implemented in all the phones, then they can connect it to your server and get the blank form in their mobile. Once the blank form is in their mobile, then they can collect the data, and then they can send it back to the server, the filled data to the server itself. Now in the server, data will come from n number of users. So n number of data will be collected in the cloud or in the data center, that you can analyze it, and then you can use it also. You can do any kind of GIS analysis on top of that data. So we will take it that. So these are the three components. So but here for this demonstration purpose, since I don't have any data center URL with me, I don't have any cloud also with me. So what I will try, this ODK build, this allows you to host your blank forms either in the Google Drive also. So that so the blank forms are there in the Google Drive, and your field data also goes in the Google Drive. So my application is here कि I will build the form and will send it to the Google Drive. From Google Drive, I will fetch the blank form in my mobile phone, and once data collected, will send the filled form again to the Google Drive. So my Google Drive will have all the data set available with me, blank as well as filled data, the data collected from the ground. So you need to have these two things with this. Now if let us take one case study here. I will go to the internet. I already have one Google account with me. I have already logged in also here in this over here. I will just increase the size of this phone. So if you directly type it here, ODK BUILD, ODK build, okay, sorry, IDK, ODK build is there. So ODK build, so this is build.getodk.org. Just click this one. So it will open this sign in screen. Now here if you see, although it may be visible to you, or I don't know, I think it is visible, quite visible here. So either you should have an account over here. If you don't have the account, then you can create your own account. Like don't have an account, so you create your account. Since I already have an account, so I will create one account. I will log in with this account, Kamal. So logged in, sign in. It is signed in now. Okay. Now the first component of ODK is the ODK build, creating the data collection forms with GIS data sets also. Okay. Now my task is I want to do a land use land cover survey. Simple task. I want to do a land use land cover survey using my mobile GIS, using the concept of mobile GIS. So the task is land use land cover survey using mobile GIS. It can be anything also. It can be a asset mapping, it can be asset monitoring, or it can be tracking, it can be field measurements. So it can be anything. But for this case study, I am taking land use land cover survey. Means one people, I have given my mobile phone to n number of people in my area of interest, and I am asking them from that location itself, you tell me what kind of land use land cover is there at your standing position, or wherever you are there in the field, what is the land use land cover in that part over there. So the people will visit there, they will capture that information and they will send it to your central server. There I can analyze in my area of interest, this is the situation of land use land cover. Means either that is forest dominated, it can be an agriculture dominated, it can be a urban settlement is dominated, it can be a barren land dominated, it can be anything. So I want to make a small analysis of my area of interest. My area of interest can be a district, my area of interest can be an entire state, or it can be entire country also, wherever the people are there with for me to collect the data. Let us take, I have one district, in district area, because my reach is there within the district, so I have all the people in the district, they will collect that land use land cover information for me, and from that information we can create any kind of land use land cover map, and that map will be in real time only. And it is not direct, it is not like from the picture, from the satellite image, and then I am running some algorithm and then generating the LULC maps. So here one first cut LULC map also can be created with the help of this. Okay, so the first exercise to that one is LULC survey using mobile GIS. Okay, so the first step is I will create one field data collection form. So for field data collection form, I have used this build ODK. Now I will give a name to this form. You quickly see it here. I will rename it. Let us give a name to it. LULC NNRMS. Some name I am giving to it. 2020. Okay, LULC NNRMS underscore 2020. This is the name of my form. Okay, form is created. Now what do I require from the field? What kind of information I want to collect? I want to collect name of that person who is collecting the data. It can be multiple time, because one person may collect n number of information. So let it come at that time also. So I will take, I want to capture the name of the person who will capture that information. First information. Second, I want to capture the location of that place. Third, I want to capture the photograph of that place. I also want to capture the date of capture of that data. And fourth is the land use land cover class. So these are the 5 attributes which I want to collect from the field. So the first one is name of the observer. So now here in the bottom, although it is not very much visible, if you will do it yourself, you can see it here. At the bottom is there, text is there. The first option here at the bottom, left bottom here, text. You just click the text, so it will create the first field for data collection. Okay, that is the text field. I want here name. So the first option here is typing the name, 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 and then label. Label means what will be visible to the user in the mobile phone, how he will see it. So I will say here, what will be the question? Type your name. Type your name. NAME, name. Type your name. Okay, sorry, it is not. Okay, name, and then label. I will click it here. TYP. Type your name. So if you see, the same thing will be visible here also. So the user will get this question, type your name, whereas this data name, this name will go to the database. Important point to remember here is, in name, spaces are not required. In this data name, spaces are not accepted. Okay, whereas in label, you can type anything. You can give a hint also. You can make it as a mandatory field also. You can make it read only also. You can specify the length of the name also here. You don't want a big name to be there in the form. So you can restrict that length of the name also here. So right now I am not putting any restrictions over here. So, but I will make it mandatory as a required field. Let us check this one. So it is a required field. Second, I was saying I want the location of that information. So now there is another tab here at this place at the center of it. First, second, third, fourth, sixth, fifth tab. This is the location. Now this location tab, this field, what it will do? It will communicate with the GPS chip of your mobile phone. It will communicate with it and it will fetch the information which is collected by the GPS receiver into the form. So this the task. This is very important task over here for this particular field. So already it is inbuilt. All the code is written there. You need not to write the code for fetching the or extracting the information from GPS to your application. It is already inbuilt. This will do the task for you. Okay. So here I will say location, LOCATION, location. So I will take it label to give it capture, CAPTURE, capture the coordinates. Capture the coordinates. Okay. So one another option that is again I want it to be required. It is a required field. Now here if you see, I can have either point, I can have a path, a line, or I can have a shape also, a polygon. Now here currently my interest is to have a LULC points only. So I will take point. But if you want to do the field mapping, that you can select this shape option. If you want to do the road mapping, select the path option here. I am selecting only the point because my interest is to capture only the location along with at that particular location what is the LULC. So I am taking point only. The third I was saying I want the photograph also. So there is another code directly it is written there media. This media you select it here. Now what this field will do, it will again communicate with the camera of your phone. Once it is communicated to the camera of your phone and it will fetch the picture captured by the camera into this field. It was fetching the GPS location. Now this field will fetch the photographs captured by the phone camera. The phone, whatever phone camera you have, it will capture that photograph into this location. So I can give the question for it here, photo, 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 and I can give the label here, capture photo. Capture photograph, PHOTOGRAPH, capture photograph. This will be the question. I will show you how this will look in your mobile phone. Now I want it to be a required field, and now if you see it here, the kind, I can have image, I can have a selfie, I can have an annotation, I can have a drawing, I can have a signature, video, audio, selfie video, and n number of options are there. These all the options will be taken care with the help of this one. Since I require only one image, so I will take image. Okay, the image is done. So my 3 questions are complete. Fourth question was date and time. At what date and time? So date and time you have to capture. Now what this date and time will do? It will communicate with the that date application of your phone. Your phone is having some default date. Today's date, they capture it. So this application, this field, it will capture that information from there and it will give it into your mobile GIS application. So I will capture this also. So these all fields they are doing something. They are capturing the information from different sensors. So similarly I can have some other sensors also inbuilt into our phone. Data name I will give over here, date, and then here select today's date, select today's date. So current date, sorry, select present today's date. Okay, that is the question. No, not an issue. So I will take this question can be anything actually. So I will take it at select today's date. So I require it as a required field. All the fields are required for me. Correct. Then the last one is now this is one important thing over here. You can make a list of LULC classes which are prominent in your district. You are knowing it, which are the things over there. What are the major classes like? You can have a forest land, you can have a forest land, you can agricultural land, you can have orchards also, you can have barren land also, you have city urban land you can have. So these are fixed names. You don't want that user to select it because you won't be able to do some kind of analysis because each person is typing his own spelling or his own class. You don't want that. You want the user to select from some select predefined features only. So that feature is also there. The type is called choose one. One option is there after barcode here, choose one. So what it will do, now choose one, I will select here one, I will say LULC, okay, and then label I will give to it, select the LULC class, LULC class, select the land use land cover class. I want it to be a required field. Now here I will give what are the values which will be visible to the user. Okay, the first visible user will, the option over here, they are quite options, that tab is there, options. So first option is agriculture, RICULTURE, agriculture, and then underlying value also we will say agriculture, and then I need to add one more option. First is agriculture. I can say he can select forest also, forest. One more option, add another option. Then I will say to him, you select urban land or the settlement or city area, urban, and then I can have underlying value also urban. Okay, then I can add one more option here, that is the orchard, ORCHARDS, orchards. I can have orchards, ORCHARDS, orchards. I can add one more option, that is water body, and I can have the same value with it also, water body, water body. So these are the options available to me. Okay, water body. So these will be only visible to the user. So once this form is created, you say done, and you can save this form. Okay, it is saved. Form is LULCNS. You can save this form directly. Your land use land cover form is created. Okay, now for the data collection form is created. Now the second option is, if you see it here, the step here, the form is created. Now deploy your form in Google Drive and share the link with the edit option. Now this form you want to save somewhere, so that the people can download this form from there and utilize it, and they can use it. So this form I required. Okay, so, and that location it should be like that, people should be able to submit form there also. Suppose the data is collected, now this data need to be sent to some location, na? So that also it is required. I have written over here step number 2. You will need to host the survey form you build with ODK in the Google Drive, and you also require a spreadsheet where the data the completed survey responses will be stored. The response, the people who have collected the data, that will be stored. So that location also is required. So these two things are required. Okay, so let us go to Google Drive now. Okay, so if I go to this Google Drive over here, the second option here, now here I will do some function. Form is created. Now I need some location in Google Drive where I will host this form, and there I will create one blank spreadsheet also where the survey data will be collected. Okay, so here I will say Drive, Google Drive. Directly I am going here, Drive. So Google Drive. So here already I have created many forms here. So what I will do, I will create a new folder. First of all, let us create one folder by the name ODK, survey forms, you can say survey form 2020. Some folder I have created there, survey forms 2020. So once that folder is created, survey form 2020. Okay, now inside this folder I will create one spreadsheet, blank spreadsheet, where the collected information will come. So I can create it from here, new, then I will say create spreadsheet here. Okay, this spreadsheet is created. This is a blank spreadsheet. You need not to do anything with this. Only thing is that you have to give permission of this spreadsheet in edit mode to all the users. So what I will do, share it. Just click the share button at the top. Spreadsheet name you can give LULC survey data, survey LULC 2020 survey, SURV survey data. Data will come here, blank. it is a blank sheet. All the data which people will collect, that will come over here. So I will save it, save, and then it will ask me here at the bottom, change to anyone with this link. You have to change the permission. So click this change to anyone, and then one option is here, anyone with this link, anyone on internet this link can view. No, I want it edit also, so I want to make him the editor also. So from the viewer you select editor. So now anyone who can on the internet with this link can edit it. The people can edit this form. They can host something onto this spreadsheet. They can put some data into it, because the data in this spreadsheet will come from their mobile phones. So I need to give them the write access or the edit access. Okay. Now this part is done. Okay, so once this is done, spreadsheet is created. Now I want the blank form which I created in ODK build to be hosted, to also be coming over here. This is my folder. Now inside this folder, this survey form 2020 is blank spreadsheet I have created. The second is the Google form, the ODK form which we have created just now. So here I can do it, file, or before going to that, now if you see it here in the share option, you have to copy the link also. Actually I just forgot to copy that link here. This you have to copy this link. Once this link is copied, then you have to go to this ODK build. Now here I have one option called edit. Now here form properties. In form properties, this submission URL, the data collected from this form will go where? You will give the spreadsheet link here, which I had copied from there. You just paste it over here. Okay, so this is done. So the data collected from this form will go to this spreadsheet, which the link of which I have just typed it over here, submission URL. Okay, done. It is done. Then you can just save it as an XML form, export to XML, and then download it. Okay, XML is downloaded. It is done. Now you take this XML. I told you earlier also, because mobile phone, they are the common formats for data transfer or data sharing is XML or JSON. So this is an XML file. This you put it there in your Google Drive. I will go to this Google Drive. Only 5-4 minutes also. I will complete it. It is very simple here. Like if you see, I want to add something here. Upload, file upload. Okay, file upload from where? From that folder. Just I have created download. That was LULC NNRMS 2020. Select this one, open it, and it will be uploaded here. It will come here also. If you see it here, I have the blank sheet from in which the data will come, and I have the blank form which will be downloaded by the users. So form is also there and blank sheet is also there. Okay, now we have to change the permission of this sheet also. If you click it here, right click and then share. Then you have to share this link also. Again, it has to be shared in an edit mode. Select this one and you make it as editor. Now this link you need not to copy here. For this blank form or for this form, you need not to copy this link. Your ODK collect will automatically take it. Okay, then I will say done. Okay, so now this form is anyone on internet with this link can edit. So this is an edit option. This is done. It will save it, done. Okay, so your server is ready now. So, form is ready, server is ready. The last component is the mobile phone. How this form will look in your mobile phone. So for that, I will just connect my phone in this screen over here. If you see it, if you are able to see it here, this is the phone. So I will just see if you are able to see the phone here. Now what I will do it here, since I already have this ODK collect installed in my phone, so I will uninstall it. ODK collect, I will uninstall this form, uninstall, then I will start from fresh. Let us take Google Play Store. From if you see it here, I think it is visible here. I think that screen is not visible. It is. Only thing is there कि I have to download or I have to download that the third component ODK collect and fetch these forms into it, collect some data and send it back to this. Or I will show you directly here also, Play Store. You go to Play Store here directly. If you can go directly, go to Google Play Store. If you can see it here in the phone, like in the Play Store, you just type Google Collect, ODK Collect, ODK Collect. You just type ODK Collect and then it will come, and then you can install it here directly. ODK Collect will install. So it is getting installed here in the phone. The screen is not visible here, but in my phone I am able to see it is downloading and installing the ODK Collect. Same thing you can try in your phone also. I will try it here again. VYS. Select it, and then we can open it here. If you can see directly also, I will ask my colleague to just zoom to this phone, because I think it is not coming over here. So if they can see it here, it is not able to connect it here. Not an issue, but I think okay. It is now, if you see it here, it will ask for some permissions, so you can just select allow. So ODK Collect, it will be installing. Okay, so it is installed here. Now the same screen will come initially. Now what you have to do here, in this screen you have to go to these three buttons are there at the top. Now here it is general settings. In general settings, you just go to this server component. In this server component, you type here type. In type, again I have one option called Google Drive or Google Sheets. You select to this Google Sheets or Google Drive. Google Drive I have selected. Once it is selected, then you have to click on this Google Sheets settings or Google account. It will say allow. You give permission to it, just allow it, and then my user, the Google account I am selecting, kamalddn@gmail.com. Okay, it is selected. Now once it is selected, okay, so what I have done, I have gone to the type. Here I had selected Google Drive. From Google Drive I have selected the Google settings. Then from Google settings I have selected the account from where that Google Sheet is there. Okay, that is done, and then I can come back here, and then I can say get blank form. If you click this get blank form, now it will connect to this Google Drive. Okay, so it has already connected here. If you see, all the folders are visible here. So we have created survey form 2020. This is the folder there. You just click this folder, it will show you LULC NNRMS 2020 XML. Select it and get download selected. You click it, it will download the form in your phone. From there, from this Google Sheet, that form is getting downloaded. Download result, it is success. Okay, now once that blank form is downloaded here, now you fill the blank form. Click or fill blank form. Already some forms are here visible to you. These were earlier stored in this phone, but our form is this one now. LULC NNRMS underscore 2020. Select this form. Now if you see here, once it is collected, now the first question we had in our screen was type your name. Suppose I am typing here Kamal Pandey. Okay, Pandey, correct. Then second, just swap it, you will get the second point. Start geopoint, capture the coordinates. Just click it, and if you are in the field, it will say allow location. Yes, allow it, and then it will take some time and your data will be collected. Okay, some accuracy, with some accuracy it is able to capture that location also. Now I am saving that, it is saved. Location is captured from the GPS chip. Second, I am saying take a picture. So I am taking the picture of that place. So I will take one picture of that place. Photograph is taken, and then I will select it here. Okay, so photograph is taken, and then I said select date. I will select today's date, 26th. Okay, date is also selected. then I will say what is the class. This is my area, this is my interest now. Now currently it is an urban area, so I will select urban. If you see, I am not allowing the user to type something. I am asking him to select it from my predefined values. So it is done. So it will say this is last, that was the last question. It is coming to the end of the form, and save form. Form is saved. Now I want this form to be sent to the server so that I can see it here. So I will say send finalized form. One option is there. You select it and then send selected. You select the send selected, and then that form will be going to my blank spreadsheet there. It is sending the form. It will take, again depend upon the internet speed of your phone. So it will take some time, and so if there is a good internet speed, then it will quickly install it. Okay, this message is there, upload success. Okay, now what you have done, you have downloaded ODK collect in your phone, downloaded a blank form into your phone, collected some data, and have sent that data to Google Drive again. You can keep it in your mobile phone also. You cannot send, you need not to send it also. But since there is one central manager who want all the forms, okay. So if you see it here now, again in the Google Sheet, what data has come? This was the form. This was the sheet. Double click it. If you see it here, there is one entry here. That data has come to this location from my mobile phone here. If you see it here, Kamal Pandey is there, then date of submission is there, then location is there, 66 itna, and then this is the accuracy we have given to this. This is the location, latitude, this is longitude, and this is the date, and this is the type of LULC, data LULC. It is an urban area. Okay, so I will just zoom it further. If you see it here, yeah, this one. This data was collected and it is there in my Google Sheet. So what this Google Sheet will have, now n number of people are collecting the data. Whatever data is sent, that will accumulate in 111 all the rows of this sheet. That data will come, and then I will have a collection of the data sets. Now that data set I can use for any kind of GIS analysis. So one small land use land cover survey we have done it over here. If you see the photograph, it will show you the photo also here. If you see the photo, it will show you that photographs also here. This was the photo that was taken. Okay, so photographs as well as all the informations are collected. So this is the complete workflow of a mobile GIS application which I have just demonstrated. Now I hope you will also try to do it the same way and have one small mobile GIS application in your phone. And I want that you should be able to, you should be doing some sort of mobile GIS workflow implementation using this kind of apps. Okay, so I hope I have done justice to this lecture, and time is also, I have taken 10 minutes more, and questions, if any questions are there, so I will take it up later on, but I will take a break for 2 minutes right now, and thank you very much for this.